Thus the exiles of Numenor established their realms in Arnor and in Gondor. But ere many years had passed, it became manifest that their enemy, Sauron, had also returned. He came in secret, as has been told, to his ancient kingdom of Mordor beyond the Ethel Duath, the mountains of shadow, and that country marched with Gondor upon the east. There above the valley of Gorgoroth was built his fortress vast and strong, called Barad-dûr, the Dark Tower. And there was a fiery mountain in that land that the elves named Orodruin. Indeed, for that reason Sauron had set there his dwelling long before, for he used the fire that welled there from the heart of the earth in his sorceries and in his forging, and in the midst of the land of Mordor he had fashioned the ruling ring. There now he brooded in the dark until he had wrought for himself a new shape. Uh-oh. So he made himself a shape.
Oh
That's
no.
interesting. And it was terrible,
Yeah.
for his fair semblance had departed forever when he was cast into the abyss
Oh,
at the drowning of Numenor. What?
that's when he gets ugly.
Yes. He took up again the great ring. Where the fuck was the ring the whole time then? Was it in just chilling there waiting for him? I'm confused.
Chilling in the lava.
Yeah, he left it there, I guess, when he went to Numenor. He took up the great ring and clothed himself in power. And the malice of the eye of Sauron, few even of the great among elves and men could endure. Okay, now Sauron prepared for war against the Eldar and the men of Westerness, and the fires of the mountain were wakened again. Wherefore, seeing the smoke of Rodrien from afar, and perceiving that Sauron had returned, the Númenóreans named that mountain anew Amon Amarth, which is Mount Doom. And Sauron gathered to him great strength of his servants out of the east and the south, and among them were not a few of the high race of Númenor. Did that confuse you?
Mm,
Are you following that?
a little, because so he didn't have the ring, as we established, and he got it back,
Right,
and then he started doing chaos, basically.
right. I think he took off the ring because we remember there's a whole middle section here that we skip because it's in a different story, which is his when he
Yeah.
gives up when he decides to, because he can't defeat the Númenóreans with fighting, he decides to give himself up as a what do you call it, prisoner.
A prisoner, yeah.
As a prisoner,
Okay,
because he
yeah.
wants to go as a prisoner because eventually he wants to do his thing, which is convince you, right? The whole thing, he'd seduce you and convince you that do what I'm telling you to do because that guy's an asshole. Like, remember he said, "Oh, why do Elrond and Gil-galad get to
Yes.
have the best houses?" And then he went to Numenor and he did
Exactly.
the same thing. He said, "Why do the gods get to have everything? Why do the Númenóreans can't live forever? Don't you guys want to live forever? Aren't you sick of dying?" And they're like, "Yeah, we want to live forever
Yeah,
too. Why
he's
should we die?" And then they went and they fought against the gods, and the gods said, "F you," and sank the island, and him with it.
yeah. Yeah.
So when he made that decision, I think it didn't say it here. Maybe they forgot to mention it, or he forgot. When he must have decided to take off the ring, and hide it in Mount Doom. I'm assuming, so that when he would come back, it would be there wait. It would be there
Okay.
waiting for him. That's the
Okay.
only thing
No, okay, makes sense
we
now.
have to assume that based on the.
Yeah, no, that's the only.
But it makes
Yeah,
sense.
that's the
It makes sense
only.
that he would do that because everything is about the ring, and he was trying to make. So really, if you think about it, Sauron had balls because they could have killed him. So
Yeah, no.
the
I
ring,
mean, that's what he's showed so far the whole time.
the ring,
Like, he's been scheming and stuff, but he's got balls.
the ring isn't even his when you think about it, the ring isn't even that big of a deal because what really makes Sauron different as a bad guy is how he's able to convince you to do what he's literally the Cheeto from Gomorrah. Remember Cheeto?
Yeah,
Remember how right?
that's what I was trying to say earlier.
Oh,
Like
were you?
the fact that what makes him like way earlier. The thing that makes him evil, is not necessarily how he appears, even though that's deceiving. It's the way he can convince you to do things by just whispering, and that's why that was transported, I think, in this way in the visual media in
I don't think it's.
TV show and
I think you're
movies,
simplifying.
because why I am simplifying it, but I think that's why it's represented like this at this point, because it is simplified for obvious reasons.
Right, because
And
it's very. He made it very clear here, and literally quoting him, right, that the way he does it is he tells you, "Oh, Valentina, don't you think it's fucked up that so and so, your girl over there, she's got more stuff than you? Don't you think that's wrong? Don't you deserve to have those things? I think you deserve to have those things too. I think we should like join forces against her and take her shit or something like that." That's how he works, right?
yeah,
So
yeah,
that's how he convinces people. I mean, the whispering thing, like
he's
you said, I get it. It's a
he's installing
doubt.
what's the word, envy
Yes,
and doubt
there you go.
into other people.
So that's his
Even though
real.
you didn't have it before,
Right.
that's what it makes you feel.
That's his real power. If you think about it, the One Ring
Yeah.
is whatever. The One Ring is more like a like. Really, the One Ring is more like he wants to be able to snoop into what you're thinking and doing. That's what the One Ring
Yeah.
does, right? And when you put on a ring, it's the same thing as like I don't know. It's like him hacking your phone, so now he can hear who you're talking to, what you're watching.
Yeah.
You know, oh, you
You're
like
getting tapped.
yeah. So that's really and that's pretty freaking cool when you think about it. That's very that's because it's we're no longer really talking really about it's not that he's super powerful, right? It's not that he's super strong. It's that he's super fucking conniving, which is how human beings do it too, right? When you think about it.
Yeah. He's just 75 steps ahead of everybody else.
Right. So he's very human, relatable, relatable in that respect. Um, but I think that's what he did. And so he had balls. Like he was like, yeah, I don't need this ring. I obviously am not, even with the ring, imagine, I'm not strong enough to defeat these guys. So I'm literally going to turn myself in and be prisoner. And I'm so confident that I can convince them that they're not, number one, they're not going to kill me. And by the time I'm done, I'm going to be calling the shots. That's balls. That's amazing.
Yeah, he's like,
That's amazing.
y'all can do whatever.
And he
I can still do it.
and he did it. And you know, the only reason he lost was for the same reason his master lost, which is he went too far and then literally wanted to go against God himself. And that's the other thing, like that's where
Yeah, dude.
that's where the kind of the biblical aspect comes into place, where it's like you think you can be God, but you can't be God. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
You can't.
evil
You can't.
evil can go all the way, right? Like it can convince everybody to do what it wants to do, right? It could convince people to be like, yeah, we should go up against God. And it's like, and they'll do it, but then God is like, no. Right?
Yeah,
That's the
he's
lesson.
like, what do you think you're doing, man? Like,
Yeah, that's the
you
lesson.
actually think you want to do this?
And even
Like,
though
give it a break.
even though his master failed and then he failed in Numenor, he's still going at it. He's still back at it. He
Yeah.
just goes right back to no repentance. He just goes right back like I'm just gonna go back to Mount Doom and pick up my ring and start all over again. Talk about what do you call it? I mean stubbornness, perseverance. What the heck?
Yeah.
Um,
Dude had a mission
there you go.
and went with it.